Today, we gather once again to honor and celebrate Emancipation Day, a day of immense importance for our nation and especially for descendants of enslaved Africans throughout the Caribbean. Today is a powerful reminder of the abolition of slavery, a brutal and inhumane system which was imposed on our ancestors for almost 400 years. Today, we reflect on their sacrifices and triumphs and remember the pain and suffering which they endured. It is a day to reflect on our shared history, our identity, our heritage, and the rich legacy of our ancestors. Today, we remember that it was their long struggle and their fight for freedom which brought us the freedom and dignity we now enjoy. If we could hear the voices of our emancipated ancestors today, I believe they would remind us that colonization had no conscience. Freedom is not just the absence of chains, but the presence of opportunity, good governance, respect, and justice for all. They will expect us to challenge oppression in all its forms and to promote a message of hope, resilience, and responsibility. They would urge us to enhance education, to empower ourselves and our communities, and to build a society where every person can realize their full potential. 2 years ago, we took a bold step in the development of our country when, for the first time in our modern history, the government launched Emancipation Day celebrations under the theme, Enkindling Our Consciousness, a theme which was adopted for 3 years. This year, therefore, is the third and final year for observing Emancipation Day under this theme. In 1901, a Jamaican newspaper, the Jamaican Advocate, declared that Emancipation Day is the day on which to recall the history of our fathers, to contemplate the destinies of our children, end of quote. If we accept this as the self-evident reason for observing Emancipation Day, then our theme of enkindling our consciousness has indeed served its purpose. For there is no doubt that with the success of the Emancipation Day activities to date, these celebrations have made us realize and recognize that this August 1st holiday is too important for appreciating our past, too important for understanding our present, and too important for planning our future to be spent in idleness and irrelevant activities. As the Emancipation Day celebrations of the last 2 years have made us think about its significance, we have come to realize that emancipation was not just an event of 1834, but a process that began then and that continues today. As I said in my message to you last year, the 1833 Emancipation Act was the commencement of a social and nation-building project that is our inheritance to continue and advance. My government, both through these celebrations and the governance policies we have been implementing, is playing its part in this advance. In fact, I firmly believe that the governance mantra of my administration, putting people first, encapsulates the very essence of the Emancipation Project. It means ensuring the rights and freedoms our ancestors fought for are upheld and respected. It means creating opportunities for everyone, regardless of their background, to strive and to succeed. It's about recognizing the aspirations and potential of every Saint Lucian. It's a call to action for our country to advance the well-being and upliftment of all members of our society. It requires us to address the systemic inequalities that persist in our society and to work to dismantle them. This is why my administration began these celebrations 2 years ago, so to enkindle to us the appreciation of, and the desire to honor the sacrifices of our enslaved masters. It is to instill of our enslaved ancestors. It is to instill in us the obligation to continue building the new post-emancipation society in a manner of which they will be proud. They will be proud if we build a society in which the engines of our economy are in our hands. This is why my administration has been the first government to establish a program like the youth economy, the MSME Small Business Loan Grant Facility, which empowers our young people and the aspiring business class to become successful and prosperous entrepreneurs and business people on whom our economy will depend. Our forefathers would be proud if we have built a society in which education from kindergarten to university level is accessible and affordable to all in our country. This is why my administration has placed so much emphasis on providing a wide range of educational opportunities for our young people. And I call upon all to take advantage of these opportunities, as an educated society is the bedrock of a successful country. This is why this month we are providing all non-government supported preschools a grant of $2,500 to enhance services at their respective schools. This is why I have instructed the Ministry of Health to take concrete and visible steps to improve the services provided to citizens at the emergency ward at the Millennium Heights Complex and St. Jude Hospital. I expect to see an improvement in service by year end. Our fathers would be proud if we can build a society of equity and justice. This is why, on this 1st August 2024, my government is implementing the first ever new minimum wage for the workers of this country, which is effective from 1st October 2024. No worker in this country will earn less than $1,130 a month, or $52 daily, or $6.52 per hour. 13,000 people are expected to benefit immediately with salary increases as a result of that policy. The minimum wage does not include any payment that an employee is entitled to, such as overtime, share of service charge, commissions, bonus, or profit sharing. I want to encourage all employers to accept this act for greater equity in our society. There are whispers that some of you are planning to do otherwise. I want to discourage you from attempting to lay off workers instead of rewarding their years of hard work with this minimum wage. To do this would be to sow the seeds of discord, disenchantment, and probably criminal activity, which would be counterproductive for all of us in the long run. A contented workforce is a productive workforce. A productive workforce advances the development of the entire country. While we understand the profit motive of businesses, I want to appeal to you to give equal consideration to the welfare of your employees and your social responsibility to the wider community. Let us therefore all embrace this minimum wage in the spirit with which it is being implemented today, the spirit of emancipation from injustice. I want to thank the members of the Minimum and Equal Wages Commission that comprise of all social partners for their hard work and dedication in arriving at the minimum wage, which incidentally, according to their calculations, is the livable wage. I also want to ask the workers of this country to ensure that they give a fair day's work for a fair day's pay. This is why we have ensured that as of this day, 1st August, the monthly payment of all pensioners who have contributed so much to our development will increase to $725 monthly. No government pensioner will receive less than that amount. Likewise, no national insurance pensioner will receive less than $500 monthly, which amounts to an increase in payment for 3,438 pensioners from today. These pensioners receive $300 monthly. Now they will get an increase of $500 per month. 3,438 people will benefit from this government initiative. And this is why, in our quest for just society, we have embarked on the building of the new halls of justice, so that justice can no longer be delayed and therefore be denied. Our ancestors would also be very proud if we continue to agitate and demand reparations from the countries which enslaved them so brutally for 400 years. Our ancestors would be proud if we can build a society that is free from the type of violence that was inflicted on them by their slave masters for over 400 years. Slave society in the Caribbean and even in the immediate post-emancipation period was a violent society. And this is why, when we engage in the violent acts like the senseless murders and gun violence, domestic violence and child abuse, we are failing in our duty to our ancestors. They cannot be proud of what our societies have become in this regard. And so, I urge all Saint Lucians to come together to build a kinder, more caring society. I call upon our young men in particular to emancipate themselves from the slavery of criminal gang activity, which is the fast track to nowhere. Let us take concrete steps to support one another by volunteering in our communities, mentoring young people, and assisting in programs which empower the youth, women, and persons with disabilities. Let us strive to build a stronger and more inclusive society. I call on you to engage in more acts of friendship and community building, to foster an environment of peace, shared prosperity, and togetherness. Let us reject political divisiveness and acrimony. There are opportunists amongst us promoting hatred and revenge. They will join hands and plot with anyone who plans to destroy our country and our economy. They expect us to destroy ourselves and our country in senseless political tribalism for their own personal benefit, hatred, and envy. Instead, we will choose civil discourse, tolerance, democracy, and peaceful neighborly relations. We must always remember that our strength lies in our unity and our commitment to one another. My fellow Saint Lucians, as we celebrate Emancipation Day and complete the theme of enkindling our consciousness, let us resolve to always remember that period of our history when the activities of our enslaved ancestors laid the basis for the freedoms we take for granted today. Let us also remember that Emancipation Day is not just a celebration of the past, but a beacon of hope for the future. Together, let us strive to build a future that reflects the dreams and aspirations of those who came before us and fought for our freedom. Let us do so with pride, unity, purpose, and an unwavering determination. Let us strive for climate justice and implore developed countries to emancipate small island developing states, SIDS, like Grenada, St. Vincent and Saint Lucia, from the pain and suffering caused by climate change. I thank you. And may we all continue to honor the legacy of Emancipation Day in our hearts and in our actions. Happy Emancipation Day, St. Lucia. I thank you.
If you want to go wash, now what are you good?
Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together once again for that comprehensive presentation by our Prime Minister, who contextualized that emancipation is not a date or a day, but it's a process that is so connected to our national development. Shaidita nou kwe emancipation c'est un date, un jour pour nous aller faire ça nous vle, mais ni pour faire puis développement national cette ici. Tied to our theme of emancipation, of enkindling consciousness, very often we focus on the chains that have been broken, but we are also in the process of creating space for ourselves. And one such area of space and creation is tied to cultural and social development. And it is so fitting that we have in our presence, in our midst, in the Soufre community, the Soufre Action Theatre, SAT. Yo jatou avay a développement société a fait kilti et puis a fait kilti well pour nous garder kono différentes manières to preserve our traditions like Jab Dewo and to ensure that our children have an acute awareness of who they are. The Soufre Action Theatre is part of the movement that began Théâtre Pepla, the People's Theatre. And it is so important for us to bring them on as they do a special piece. I'm sure you can hear the drumming in the background of a piece entitled We Saw Beyond Our Seeing. Anu bienvenue SAT, the Soufre Action Theatre, to do a special presentation for us today.